You see my screen, everyone?
Yes.
Should my
This conference will now be recorded.
so let's have a quick rewind of what we have done. Let me share my screen. You see my screen, everyone?
Yes.
Should my share? So
Yes, sir. Visible.
Yes.
okay. So what we have done so far. So on the master data point of view, we started. I mean, initially we had a brief introduction of what we are trying to do, what we are going to do as part of this BRM, right? After that, we went ahead. I mean, we understood that master data is something that is mandatory before we start anything, right? So for that, but we started creating master data relevant to subscription business. We saw company code. These are all. I mean, this is all done by your FI team and the in the beginning initial setup of your system. But still, I went ahead and showed you how to link and what are the different objects that are there as part of the enterprise structure. Right? Company code division, the sales are DC division and sales area. We set up the sales area. We understood what is the sales area and all. After that, we created a subscription product and we created a business partner. We created a contract account. So this master data we set it up initially, right? This master data which requires for us to go ahead. We set up in the beginning, and then what is our objective? Our objective is to uh, you know uh, issue a service to the customer and bill the customer, right? So that's our objective. So how we handle the sales part of it. Okay, so we are trying to sell some service to the customer, and we are going to collect the payment from the customer. That's the objective of it, right? So how we start our sales process or the subscription process using that process we started in SOM using certain objects. Okay, so we have a provider order, provider contract. We those things we use, and master agreement is also one of the thing. After that, we go into CI and we do the remaining part of it so that a customer gets billed, and it goes to customer gets invoiced, billed and invoiced, and then it goes to FICA for incoming payments and all. Right? This is something. This is one part of the flow, right? There is another part of there is another path for which the usages that comes into picture. This is another path. Right now we are at here. We are trying to achieve this part of the this flow, right? This flow, end-to-end flow. For that, we have created
So
a provider order. Yes.
yeah, I had a question. So yeah, we created the provider orders and then we created the provider contract. But for the master agreement, is it the same node that we go and define the product master agreement,
It is
same
the
like
same node.
provider
It's
order and
the same node. Same node. It's a little bit of different. I mean, few things you'll understand when we go to this part. Master agreement. There are few things that you'll understand when we discuss this part, this billing and invoicing part. That's the reason we. I mean, it's not a mandatory object to start to begin your the BRIM process. You can directly start from provider order. It's not a mandatory thing, but for MA there is a specific purpose. Okay, there is a reason why we use MA. Not every time it's optional. All the time it's optional. But certain cases, if you want, there are some cases where you might need a master agreement. That we'll come to know when
sure.
we do the billing.
Yeah.
Right?
And all these goes into the VBAK table itself, or what are the underlying tables that we hit when we create this master data and the transactions?
Or not VBAK. VBAK is it is for your sales.
VBAK for sales order transaction, Chinmay. It will
Yeah,
go into
Right.
your material master table.
Mara is something you can
No, no.
use. Okay.
It will go to material master table. But I was wondering, like provider order and provider contract, where do they, what tables do they hit?
There is something called S4D server H, CRM S4D server H, and S4D server Y.
Sir, you are sharing a screen, nothing is visible, sir.
I'm
Yeah,
sharing.
yeah, he's sharing the screen. It is visible.
For me,
For
it's not visible.
Sup, you can't see. Let me stop share
No,
and let me reshare it again.
Okay.
Chinmay, you can see, right? You can see Chinmay?
Yeah, I'm able to see.
Yeah, yeah, it was very visible to me.
Okay, let me reshare it again. You see
I'm
it now,
able to
Sub?
see SAP Brim show. That's what I'm able to see.
No, there must be some setting then. I think I'm able to see it now as well.
Sub, can you rejoin? Otherwise, for Chinmay, is it Chinmay? Can you see?
Yes, Karthik, I can see. Yes.
Okay, you can see. Sub, please rejoin once.
I'll also
Yeah, yeah,
rejoin
it's
once.
visible to me. I think Shane, I think he's not able to.
Yes.
Yeah,
For
yeah.
Shane,
I'm not able to see. I will rejoin, sir. I'll rejoin again.
yeah, please do
Your
that.
view
Yeah.
options, have you made it everyone, Shane, on top of your go-to meeting?
Yeah, I'm into
The view
everyone, sir.
options. Okay.
Show me my
Shane, please.
camera. That is okay. I will just join again.
Yeah, yeah, sure. So we went ahead with, I mean, before meanwhile Shane joins, right? So, Chinmay, what happened is we went ahead with a lot of other things. You're not
Yeah.
there on Saturday, right? So Monday you're not there. So we
Monday
have
was
done
not there.
this provide order. Okay, maybe your understanding until, I mean, you are there until this part, right? Not provide order. Were you there? Provide order.
Until provider order contract, I was there.
Okay, the contract configurations you are there. No, I guess.
Not the. Yes, we created the subscriber contract or the provider contract
The
last
master
weekend.
data, the pricing conditions, the pricing procedure, the other
No,
definition procedures. Okay, that we have done it on Monday. So you may be,
Monday.
that's the reason you are thinking
That
that,
is
you
fine.
will,
It's like SD pricing procedure. Then I think I'm okay.
yeah, it is, it
If
is,
I
it
have
is,
missed it.
yes, it is,
Okay.
it is similar to that. Pricing
Okay.
procedure, the date profiles, the partner information, so those things we have done. And also we have seen something called ODI, the order distribution infrastructure, to distribute the data from SOM to CC and SOM to CI. And we also have a look at how the data is looking in CI and how the data is looking in CC. So those are the things that we have done on Monday. So that's the reason you might have thinking that, 30%. I mean, we are almost at 25% done. But more majority of the things we will reintegrate. Okay, so a few things. I mean, conceptually, we will revisit these things again when we go to CC and CI. We'll revisit the SOM again and again, multiple times. Okay.
Okay. So let me. Yeah. I mean, I can go through the uh, recording on Monday
No
of
problem.
Monday.
No problem. No problem.
Uh, Once Rishika sends me that.
Sure. Sure. Yeah. Okay. Let's wait for. Okay. We were asking about the tables. Is it Shane was asking about the tables? Let me log into S4 HANA. We also seen how the SAP CC looks like, and how do we see the contact data inside SAP CC. But we'll come to that part. We'll see that multiple times again. Let me log into this S4 HANA where we see the SOM and CI and FSCA part of it. Right? So let's go inside. We log in. So let's go to C Live SC16, and you see S4D tables. Okay, sir. Okay, let me just just S4D, use S4D and serve. You'll get the table names. See, serve H is for header data. Okay, order related or any other data. Header specific data will be under serve H, and item
No,
specific data
it's
will be under serve I. Okay, so and also
I'm
it's
able.
in the, yeah, serve H and serve I. Okay, let me copy this. Otherwise,
For both the order and the contract,
no, no.
provider order
For
and provider.
contract, you'll see it in a different table. I mean, yes, there is one more table also, DFKK VTI. or VTH. Okay, so this is for your contracts. Okay, VTH, header date of your contract and item date of your contract. Okay, DFKP, VTH, VTI. Shane, you're able to join? Shane is not there.
Let me try.
Have a word with Shane. So ask him with check with him, Shane. Check with him, Chinmay once.
Yeah, I just pinged him. Uh,
Okay.
because the WhatsApp call don't go through in Dubai, right? So uh,
He said they're using some different app.
we have to use VPN
Karthik said,
to.
hello.
Yes,
Yeah. Shane is trying to join, but he's getting that information like somebody has to accept that request to join. So, are you getting any notification, something to accept that?
no, actually not required. We didn't log the session, right? Anyone can join with that link.
Okay.
It is similar to Chinmay and you. There is no
And
acceptance required. Anyone can join with that link. There is no lock. If you see on the screen, there is no lock. How come only he is getting that invitation?
did we also cover copy control on Monday or?
Yeah, copy control is done. Copy control.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the reason you felt like we didn't do much of the thing. But copy control, the item category determination, and the data specific to BP as well as data specific to a few of the data specific to product we have covered. And also the settings from subscription point of view. What are the different settings that you need to do for order, for contract, for item transaction type, item category? We have seen that also. And also we have seen the order distribution infrastructure, what the ODA was talking, right? How a data gets distributed and what are the different things that we do. Those are part of our Monday session. And we stopped on Monday where we are trying to look at change process. Okay, that's the concept of change process. That's where we stopped on Monday. We'll see once Shane joins. Okay, I'm not getting any invite or any other because it's an open. This thing. Let me stop the recording. Ask
This
me.
conference will now be recorded.
Now I'm into subscription order management. Let's here you see a few of the tiles. Right now we are going to start with the manage subscription orders. Let's create new and select the GS14 is our transaction type. Select this one. Enter our source to. This is also to 14 BP and enter the product. Right. we have defined 500 for this, right? So this is of 12 months period. It is saved, right? And let's look at the dates. It's a recurring 500. It's not a one time, it's a recurring 500, right? It's a recurring 500. We have seen the dates also. So the dates, it's here by default, you're selecting 12 months. So that's coming here. This your contract validity. And how your start date is today's date, right? So based on the date rule that we have configured, right? So based on the date rule, it is taking today's date. And how the end date is determined as per the date rule, end date is calculated based on the start date plus the duration, the contract validity, right? So that's how we have seen that. Now let's go into price details. Okay, this is our price. Go back, 500, submit. Say a contract is created, all right? Let's click on the contract. Now here, what is the main thing that we need to see whether the contract is active or not? How do we know whether it is active or not based on the technical active? So this wasn't, I mean, for Chinmay, for your ref, we have seen few of the things, few of the errors which we get, okay, when distributing the contract, and how to correct those errors also we have seen on that day. Okay, that's something you need to go through the recording. So how the data gets
Sure.
distributed to CI and CC using a fulfillment status. If you look at the top, there is something called fulfillment status, right? So fulfillment status, it contains the steps that we have defined inside our ODI. Okay, so the one which is important is BCEA, which is responsible for distributing the data to CC and CI. And if you want to see if there are any message, I mean, right now, if you see that it is green, that means it is executed. If there is any error, if there is any failure with the execution of this data and the data are not distributed to CI and CC, you can always go to the monitor at the bottom, at the top of this assignment block, monitor, click on it. It will take you to a different screen where you see the fulfillment steps that we have defined, and also you see the fulfillment messages. Okay, if any error message, the message type any error, then our contract will be technically active, no, right? And the data won't get distributed to CC and CI. You can verify. Okay, so we have seen one such error on Monday. Now, this is on the distribution point of it, right? So let's see whether this contract is available or not. Okay, now let me go to how do we see a contract whether it is available in CI. Go to a transaction code FP underscore VT3 and enter the contract we just created. Okay, so you see there is a data that is available associated with it, and you see the contact information inside CI. You see the business partner, the start date, end date, company code, item data, right, and the product that you have used, the contract account part of it, account assignment, your sales arc, sales area data. So everything you can see. Okay. Now let's see whether this same contract. Now, can you tell me whether it is available in CC or not? How do we know whether it is available in CC or not without looking at CC?
Is there a status on this as well on the provider contract?
Your contract, the status technically active, yes, right? This means it is distributed.
Hmm.
Otherwise, if the data is not available in CC and CI, this will be no, and you'll end up in errors. The fulfillment status will be inactive. That's how, without even looking at. So right now the status is active. That means contract is replicated to CI and CC both, because our distribution scenario is
So
FICA and CC.
yeah. What was
And
the SAP screen? Uh, there was a GUI screen that you were showing. That was also a provider contract, basically, right?
yeah, this is the data that is available in CI. Right,
Okay,
Shane?
okay. After we replicated,
This until this part we are in SOM. Okay, so whether the data is replicated to CI or
20848.
uh, so to see whether the data is available in CI or not, we'll go to a T code called FPBT3. It tells you, I mean, FPBT3 is a T code in CI. If the contract is replicated successfully, you see a contract in this T code. Remember last time when the technically active status is no and the contract is not available, right? And we did some changes and we corrected that error. You have to go through Shane. Yeah. Okay, now how do we log into CC? So CC is a standalone system, right? In S4 box, what are the systems we have? SOM, CC, and SOM, CI, and FICA, right? But where is CC and how do we log into that? Okay, so CC is a separate standalone system that your base system installs it. Okay, so there is a location where they place the files of it. Okay, so core tool, I mean, if you look at, these are all the instances of CC. Core tool is a kind of a GUI screen for CC. Okay, we do everything in core tool. Okay, I created a desktop shortcut for it. So click on it. It will ask you for username and password. It's like a SAP GUI screen. Okay, launchpad kind of. Just log into that CC now. Okay, so this is the server URL where the CC is installed by your base system. Okay, now log into this CC using your ID. Okay, it will open up. It will launch a similar kind of a GUI screen. So this is a core tool. Okay, this is CC screen. Here you have list of things at the top, right? I have list of things at the top. Okay, and there are other also. If you want to see the list of objects inside it, go to view get logs window, view get logs. It displays the list of objects inside CC. Okay, so this catalog is a kind of a package. Okay, in SAP. So in Dream package, we mostly work. I mean, we can create our own package and start working on it. So this is the list of objects that are there available in the CC system. Okay, let's not go into the CC deeper, but let's see whether our contract is replicated to CC or not. How do we see that? File open and then open provider contract. So what is our contract? 2084, right? I guess. Let me see whether I copied. Yeah, 2084, right? Click on search. So contract is available. That means the data is available in CC, but only a few of the data. I mean, it's CC. We don't transfer a lot of information from SOM to CC. CC just holds the few of the information. Okay, not all the information. But whereas in CI, you see a lot of data associated to that contract. See how much data is transferred to CC, but not to CI. Okay. Now a contract is replicated and it is successful. Right, it is successfully replicated and the price of it is 500. Where are we now? Let's go and look at our path. Okay, now sorry, let's do some things on it. Okay, so now there is a contract that is created, and if you want to perform any change, okay, let's assume that, okay, instead of 5 quantity you did it for 1 quantity. Okay, now you want to change the contract data. How do you change it? For that purpose, SAP has given a concept called change process. If you look at processes, a change process. Okay, so these are the list of processes. By default they come up as soon as your contract is active. Okay, unless your contract is active, you cannot execute any of the change process. Only on the status active, technically active, yes, then only you can do this changes on the contract. Okay, this they comes up automatically But where do we see the change process? And if you want to customize around the change process, how we do, we'll see that. Okay, so for that, go to again in SOM, where do we go to do any configuration? Service mode, right? Let's go into the service mode. Go to in the service, go to transactions and go to settings for subscription transactions. Here you see there is something called contract changes. Okay, here contract changes. Okay, settings for maintenance framework BTMF. Execute that. See list of change processes. Okay, given by SAP. You can customize around it. Okay, you can customize around the classes. You can customize the class based on your requirements. Okay, so automatically on a contract, few of the things comes up. Okay, but a few of the things you can customize. SAP has given a way to uh, customize this one. Okay, you can so have a separate class, predefined customized class, and associate that against that BTMF process. And also you can create your own change process. It's doable. You can have your own change process defined. Okay, that is also doable. So ISTA, if you see the process type, let's click on it. See ISTA, ISTC, these are all the change process types. Okay, ISTA, if you are performing any changes on the contract, let's say you are customizing something, okay, and there is a requirement to have your own change process. Okay, first thing is what you need to do. You need to understand what kind of a change they are going to perform, right? What is the client requirement and what are the time what is the what are they trying to achieve? If it is a contract change, you create a BDMF process with a process type as ISTA, and if it is a lock unlock specific things you are developing, you use ISTC, and ISTG is only to repair without a change order. With change order, without a change order is ISTF, and only the repair part of it ISTG. So these are kind of some kind of a things. I mean, you can explore what are they, but ISTA and ISTC, ISTG, these are the things that we follow most of the times. Okay, you have to create your own custom BTMF process. Now,
So why there are these different processes? I mean, is there certain changes that are allowed and certain changes to be done to be not allowed to be done? Like for example, I think I saw something like quantity change. So does it
uh,
mean we can only change the quantity in that change process?
yes, the other things also
Okay.
it will allow, but it is specifically designed to change the quantity. You can also change the sold bill.
So
This is
so okay. So
yes.
the screen, I mean, just like we have VA02, similarly, a contract change screen will show up with only those particular fields to be allowed as changed.
No, no, no,
Is that my understanding?
no, no.
Oh,
That's not correct. I'll show you. Okay, so these are the different change processes, right? Let's go and see in the system. Okay, so how
okay.
you see few of the defaults have come up. Okay, and if you want to change a contract account,
Mm-hmm.
you can do using this thing. Okay, let's see how it behaves. Okay, let's say click on this one. Okay, click on contract account change.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not executing this. I'm just so I'll show you until one part.
Yeah. So sign
Okay,
the
now
configuration.
there is something copy control is not determined. It says okay. Let's see change quantity again. It will also show the same. Okay, now could not be started. Why
Mm-hmm.
it could not be started?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now what we have done, we have created a subscription order, and from this what we have done, we have created a subscription contract. We have created an order, and from there to contract, right?
Yeah.
Order to contract, right? And on the order we were able to make changes, right? We did some changes, But when it comes to contract, you cannot allow, I mean, system won't allow you to change contract. So what SAP is suggesting is execute a change process, execute change process. Okay, given by SAP. There are for almost all the scenarios, SAP has given change process. So what this will do is it will copy the contract data into an order called change order. Okay, so we do the changes on top of the change order, and we submit this, and we submit to contract after doing the changes. Okay, this is the flow. Okay, we on the contract we execute the change process. It creates a change order, and once we do the changes, we submit the changes to contract. Okay, so order to contract, we have defined a copy control. I know from order we have given that instruction, right, during the copy control. Hey, from order to contract, this is the path. Okay, if my transaction type is this one, my contract is this one, right? My item category is this one, and my contract item category is this one. So this part until we have done. So we are trying to do this one, but from contract to change order, we didn't do. That's the reason it is asking. Okay, so it is throwing an error. Okay, no entry found
Okay.
for GC15. Okay, that reverse ulta we have to do, right? So let's go and see the configuration for doing from contract to change order.
Change order.
Clear?
Okay.
Yeah. Now let's go.
Yeah. So the change order will again create a change contract, or
No,
further,
no,
or what?
it won't. I'll tell you. Okay. Let's go. Let's do that first. Let's try to set this up. Okay, and then we'll understand. Okay.
Yeah.
Now the next step is what? Go to transactions, basic settings, and in that copy controls, define copy control for transaction types. So now what we are trying to do, we are trying the other way, right? From order to contract, we have seen,
Yeah.
right? Now
Change
what are
contract to change order.
contract to change order? So change order is similar to, I mean, it is similar to provide order. You can have the same transaction type, or if you want to have a different one, you can create a different transaction type for change order. Is change order is similar to provide order only. Everything is same. It's up to us. And most of the time we keep the same, but if you want a different one, you can have a different one. Now I'll do what I do is I'll create a new one from contract to order. Okay, now let's copy. What is our contract? GC14.
Mm, I'm not
I'll,
sure if
I copied.
this question is. Uh, I had a question like why? I mean, we are creating a change order from a contract, and why don't we directly change the contract in, I mean,
We cannot change
uh,
because it creates there are impacts on the CI. Okay, so you cannot directly change. Let's say you are canceling a contract. Okay, or you are extending a contract.
mhm.
There is a contract extension also. Okay, if you're extending a contract, already for the existing contract you might have done billing, invoicing, and everything. Okay, if you're extending for that only for the duration, again the same contract, we are not changing any other things, right? The same contract, there is another version gets created. So it's they do it to create a versioning of it, so that in the invoicing and as well as in the FICA and RAR, they'll make use of those versioning. The versions are important. That's the reason they create a change order again. And to keep track of the changes, also that's another purpose. But main thing is to have a version of it, so that in CI and FICA and RAR
Sir,
there
why are
is a
we doing this
function.
business transaction, sir? I'm sorry, I missed that part. Just a brief.
So why do we? What is that? We are trying to set up the copy control, right? So what are we trying to do? From contract to order, from order to contract, there is a flow established. Okay, when we execute a change process, uh, it creates a change order, right? So from contract to change order, we are now there is no path established that we are trying to set up in the copy control. For header, I have done it. For transaction type, for now I'm going for item category. Is that answer your question? So GS14 to
Fine, sir.
GC14,
I think
right? Why are we doing this? Because see, it is not allowing us to make a change on top of this change process, right? Because the reverse, I mean, this flow until this part we have done, but not this part. How do we do that? From
Okay,
contract
okay,
to
fine,
change
sir.
order, we need to establish a link. How do we establish a link? Using a copy control. So that we are doing now. Okay, from order to
Fine, sir.
order and
Fine, sir.
item category. Right now, let's go and
Yeah, sir. Fine,
establish.
fine.
Good. Yeah. Now let's go and do it for item category. Right. So what is our item category on the contract? GC GC14 to GS14. Right. Order is GS14. Let's save this one. Now go back to the screen again. Refresh it. 20848 is our contract. Let's see the contract created today. So BP14, this is our sales order. 20848 is our contract. It is technically active. Click on change process again. So we are trying to do a change quantity, right? Let's click on change quantity. See now it is giving up a screen. Okay, so this screen is specific. It is specifically designed for change quantity, right? For changing a business partner or changing the contract assignment or contract extension, the fields that is changed will differ. Okay, let's say I'll change this quantity to 2 and I'll submit this one. This activation date is invalid. Why the activation is not be completed? Activation date. Let's say why it is invalid. Okay, I'm changing now. So this is a change order. You see at the top, a change order created. So here in this,
mm,
it will allow you to change everything. Okay, but this change process functionality specifically, you can change anything, but it is specifically designed for change quantity, and it works perfectly for that. And other things it may or may not. Okay, so don't use the other change process defined for specific purposes. Okay? If you are using for change quantity, use quantity only. I'm changing the quantity now. Let's say this quantity is, let's say, 3. Go to my price details. What is taking so many values? It is 500, right? So for 3
so
quantity,
that issue that we were getting was on the activation date. Uh, so is that so? When you change the quantity to 2, the change order had the quantity as 2 as well. So that was
ha,
that pop-up
that's
screen where you define that quantity. Okay.
that's a price. There is a pricing layer issue we are getting, right? So it's because of that that the prices are behaving weird. It's a standard bug. I
No, no, no,
informed
no.
the team.
Okay. Yeah, no, no. When you executed the quantity change process, it gave you the screen to change the quantity, which you changed to 2, and then the change order got created and then we saw the quantity as 2, right?
Yes,
Which
yes.
you
That's the reason.
agreed greater than.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Let me resubmit this. Okay. I'll do the change process again. Okay. So we'll see. We'll do it multiple times. Okay. So for one quantity it is 500. Right now let's take the quantity as 2. It should be 1000. Right. So let me save
Mhm.
this and submit it. Okay. Let me submit this one and see what happens. Okay. Contract is submitted. Now let's look at the contract again. Go into the contract. You see,
Yeah. Schedule changes or contract.
okay, something.
Changes.
My latest item is this one. Item 2 is technically active. It should be technically active. Okay, there is an error, I guess. Okay, a version of a history gets created, but this is something wrong. Okay, there is something wrong with this. What happened here? Contact history. It is still release status, not submitted. Let me go back. Edit. Submit. No, this should get disabled. Why it is not getting disabled? Let me go into this. Edit this one. Nope, there is something wrong with this. Okay, let me go into that contract again. So this should come at the top as 20 because it's a changed version, right? And if you look at the status of it, it is technically active. No, that means it is not active yet. Let me go to my initial order, initial contract, item 10, and see whether it is active. It is still active. Okay, but there is no change process. Let me cancel this one. Change quantity. Let me reject this change. I'll reject this change. Let me go to see. This should be disabled like this. Okay. Now I'll be back on my screen. Okay. So this is my original screen. I rejected this 20. Right. I created something and I rejected it. I did not apply the change. That's the reason my 10, which was originally quantity 1, is still active. Okay. And it is still the contract start and end date still are active. And now if you go to the item 20 for which this is a version, you see history of it, history of the contract created because we executed a change process, right? But we did not submit it, we rejected it because of some error that we are getting. So what happened, it created a history of it. If you look at this one, it will have records to quantity. What is my history? I tried to change the quantity and the status of it, you see it is technically inactive, right? We did not submit this one, right? There was some error and we did not submit, we rejected it. That's the reason it didn't submit. Okay, now let's go and let's go to the line item 1 again and look at the chain history of it, contract history. So there is nothing because we rejected, right? Now let's go and create a change process. One more change process. Let's do something different now. So I'll say contract extension. Okay, let's click on contract extension now. Okay, let's see how this behaves. There is something issue with the date. 330 is invalid. Enter a new date. What we should do? System time it is not clicking. Okay. Now, so for contract change, what we got a quantity field, right? Now this is for extension. Okay, now I want to extend my contract by another 6 months. Okay, so what happens if I extend my contract? What is my start date? It is 18/5. If I extend by 6 months, it's like we are ready, we are not reached the end date yet. That's the reason it is taking the current date plus 6 months, right? We are extending from current date to 6 months. Generally, when we do the extension, only at the end of the term, right? But now we are doing at the beginning of the term. That's the reason it is extending up to 12 months. Let's say if I want to extend to 12 months, okay, now it went into the 12-month duration. If you want to extend to 24 months, it will go into a different 24 months, right? So this is how we extend a contract. Now
But you can't
let's
give the start date here, right?
you can't change.
Can
This is your
you? You
he
can't
can't
change
change.
the start date. Okay.
Right. Yeah. You can't change the start date.
Okay. But like
Sorry.
customer will reach out 1 month before the contract expiry to extend it. Then
Yeah, that's all.
how? Uh,
That's all your customization. You will what you'll do is you will define custom dates. Okay. So once the contract ended, there is a concept of grace period, right? If you look at a grace period concept, you don't allow the customers. I mean, you will even though the contract is expired, but you still allow the customer to use the service for some time, right? In case of your geo, right, even though your plan is expired, they will allow you to hold the connection for some time. You get your incoming calls, maybe outgoing is bad, but incoming you get messages and all. They allow you to use the service, right? So that is something we call it as
yeah.
grace period. I mean, you need to do customization around it. The standard functionality won't allow you
Yeah. Yeah.
once your contract is expired. It won't allow you to extend it. Okay, so
Okay.
use
No,
a
no, no.
grace
My
period.
question is before. Yeah, yeah. My question is 1 month before the expiry. Let's say my contract is expiring on let's say 30th of
Ah,
June.
okay, okay. In
But
that case,
but
what we do
first
is
of
you take a request, you don't submit.
yeah,
You submit the request. The submitting is there, right? The submitting will be done only on the end date of the contract. We
on
don't
30th
sub.
of June. Okay.
Yeah, and we wait until that point of time. We don't submit it. We take a request, but we don't submit. Now I extended my
I'm
contract.
not understanding. You mean you take a request in the sense like not systematically. I mean we just accept that request
Systematically,
somewhere.
systematically we can configure renewal process. Okay, where we come with a contract extension, right? So we have batch jobs. Basically, how this data gets stored in the subscription order? Who will do that? It's a sales team, right?
Mm,
The
the
sales
sales rep,
people.
the sales rep.
Right? They'll
Yeah.
take that orders and let's say if you are extending a contract. Okay, so in case of B2B, what happens? The customer who want to continue the service, they'll come up front. Okay, they'll say that okay, I want to extend. Okay, I want to renew my contract. Okay, but we will design a solution in such a way that they can extend. We will send a notification to them saying that hey, your contract is going to expire. You have to tell
Mm,
us at least 1 month before or 7 days before or at least 15 days before so that we can process it. If you don't hear from the customer, we'll make it as the once the contract end date reaches, it gets deactivated automatically. So if a customer is interested to extend his service, we will take the request. The salespeople take the request. They'll keep it until the duration of the contract time. It's an automated process. They'll keep it. They'll take the request. the batch up will ensure that it gets triggered on the day of the contract end date. Understood?
Yeah.
Now, but
So,
how do we extend? How do we extend is always using a change process. There is no other way. You have to use the change process. Even if you are extending, even if you are renewing, everything is to a change process for the contract. That's the reason change process is an important concept on the subscription contract. Whatever the change, even the renewing is a change, right, to the contract. The contract is not changing. If you look at, right, the contract is it changing? It's not changing, right? We are changing the data inside it. Now, what is the thing that you are performing here? You are extending the contract, right? I extended my contract with the contract extension change process, and I'm submitting it now. Let's submit this one. See, this is not getting submitted. There seems to be some issue. Let me see the contract now. Go to contract history. This activation date, yeah, that's the reason. See, I submitted a contract, but what is my activation date? 19th. So 19th, I'm going to activate it. Until that point of time, it is in release status. Okay, tomorrow, but it should immediate should work. Why the immediate is not working? Let's look at the dates first. Time slice. Is there any difference between the times of this one? Start of time. Contract validity. Contract end date is okay. Start date. Start date. From 19th we are active. No, I don't want to. I want it immediate. I want this to be immediate. See, there is another history got created, right? But this should be effective immediate. Okay, so we are giving a 19th date activation date. It's going into future. But why we are getting that error? First thing I need to understand once again. Let's go into this. Let's cancel this one again. I'm canceling this one again. Okay, I don't want this. Okay, I'm rejecting it. That means it won't active. It won't get it won't get applicable to the contract. So now we go to change process. Revoke extension, lock or unlock. Let me lock the contract. Let's see. Okay. Okay. So there is one more change process, lock or unlock. What it will do, it will lock the contract so that the billing and invoicing won't happen in the CI and FICA. Okay. So that is, you're locking a contract so that the further changes, you cannot do any other changes on this contract. Let's say, I'll say that lock, right? I'm using a lock. I'll say lock for complete project and effective from 18th. Let's submit this one. Now the contract.
so these blocks are not at the time of creation then. Can we still block them at the time of creation of the contract itself?
Yes, we can. Let's say if you don't want to use that lock or unlock, okay. What you do is you go to that BTMF framework, right? Go to BTMF framework. Where is it? Contract changes. Click on this one. Change process for lock unlock. Okay, let's say where is the lock unlock? Okay. Customize this class so that this class, if you look at this class, right? Let's go to this C24 where you can see the class. See, there is a check. Okay, customize this class and check. If you don't want, to use this lock or unlock, make it as invalid. RV valid is above false. That means this won't come up,
Mm.
right? you can customize it on this. It's up to us. We can
No, no, no.
control.
What I meant to say.
Uh,
Yeah, yeah. No, my question was around, so based on the subscription order, we created a subscription contract. And when we created a contract, can we lock it at that time itself to not go to the invoicing until, based on our
no, no, no.
invoicing
Locking,
schedule?
and there is a different lock on the invoicing lock. Okay, this contract lock is something, if it won't allow you to do any other changes on top of it. Locking is, it will ensure that
Okay,
until you unlock, you cannot do any other changes on top of it.
correct. Okay, so
That
the
is the
no
purpose.
change order can be further created.
No
Okay,
no change orders, yes, and that's the purpose. See, we locked it, right? What happened? We locked it. Okay, that's the reason other changes are. Where are the other changes? They're gone, right? Now, if you want to perform any, this is how it behaves. Okay, now let's execute this one again. I want to unlock it. Next time you'll see all the change process again. Okay, so there is a lock for it, and I'm going to unlock it. Okay, let's unlock contact operator. Let's save this one. So I unlocked it. Now let's save this one again. Let's refresh it again. It should stay on the same screen. It is going back every time. Now let's go and see the contract again. Okay, let's see the contracts that are created today. 20848 is the contract, right? Let's go to that screen. 208, and we are on item 10 and go to processes. You see all the change process again. We unlocked it, right? And the time is 5:30. Now what is the time now? There is a mismatch between the times. That's from to since 1:30 to 7:30. This is okay. Yeah, there is a time mismatch. Hmm. There seems to be time zone issue. System beginning. Let's see it again. So this is a change order I created. Go to the contract. Go to processes again. No, it's not working. So something, there is some wrong. There is something seems like wrong. There is something wrong with the change process. Okay, but we will revisit this one. Okay, I need to verify what happened. Okay, but the concept wise, Did you understand how to execute a change process and what are the different things that we have? How to execute and how do we customize? Is it clear or anyone has any doubt? Is Shane,
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sukhna?
I am there. I am
Okay,
there. I am
Here.
actually toggling between screens over here.
okay. Yeah.
But
So
I did not. Yes.
tell me. Yeah, go ahead.
No, nothing, sir. I will have to go to the recording once because I had an issue in the first 45 minutes. But it's okay. I'm able to catch up. You continue, sir.
Okay. So this change process, I will have a look at it. It should behave. Let me see. Let me open another server. Give me a minute, guys. Let me see in the other server.
Sir, just one question. In this change process, are there any things that we cannot change?
Uh, Anything means what? We can. I
Like,
mean,
are there
change.
any fields which are restricted that you cannot change? Or maybe like if I want to change even the BP, can I even change the BP as well? Or do
Yes,
you have to
yes.
make a new contract for that?
As for 2022, they are allowing us to change BP also.
Okay, because many a time what happens, our business, right? They put there are multiple BPs, right, for a customer. So they select the wrong BP and then or sometimes they use the right BP but select the wrong address. So they need to change the address only for the BP. So things like that.
It's allowed. It is allowed now. BP from
Okay, okay,
2022 for 2022, they're allowing BP change also.
okay, fine, sir.
I'm trying to see it in another system.
So the subscription, the change order that we created, the order number stays the same, is it, or is it the new order
Yes,
number
yes.
that gets created for the change order?
We don't change the change order. The contract number is staying the same, right? We don't change the contract number. If you change the contract number,
Contract.
let's say a simple
Okay,
example
okay.
is you bought a mobile plan, okay, and they assigned a mobile. I mean, of course, it's not exactly same to same, but let's simple example is you have a mobile plan and you are changing the services inside your mobile plan. They don't change your mobile number, right? So similar. I mean, just think in that point.
Mhm. Okay, so contract numbers says the same, but my question is like the change order gets created from that contract, but that change order number is different, and the original subscription order number is different, or say,
You don't
or
change.
is that the
Actually,
same?
once a contract is created, what is the meaning of it? What is the meaning of a fulfillment? You went to a store, okay? You went to a store. Here, I mean, let's say you went to a store and you asked him,
Yeah.
you asked the salesperson to provide these services. Okay, so he'll say that, okay, he will enter in the system and show you, okay, these are all the things and these are all the amounts. Okay, so at that time he creates an order. I mean, he creates an order and he'll show you that these are the things. The salesperson will show you, hey, these are the amounts. If you go with this service, this is your amount. If you go with other service, that is your amount. He'll show you all the details. But does it mean that you are going to pay for it? No, right? When you will pay, when the service is fulfilled, that means the service is activated for you, then you start
Mhm.
paying it, right? So until a contract, I mean, what is the important thing is here? I mean, the contract is an important factor, right? Until a contract is generated, a service is fulfilled, you're not responsible for it. So the contract is what is important in the further streams. Okay, I mean, even in billing or invoicing, wherever you go, order nobody cares about it. So you can have any number of
Okay.
change orders, but the contract won't change. So orders you can have any. You can change your. It's a version. It's a history of your changes that gets applied to the contract. For each version, there is a change order. It's a kind of a subscription order only. It's a change order, right? You can have any number of change orders, but your contract won't change, and any number of change orders won't affect your contract. I mean, maybe the data you are changing on the contract, but you can have any number of changes on top of it.
How to minimize the
Always,
change?
even if you look at, right, what did we see in CI and CC? Did we look for change order or subscription order in CI and CC, or we looked for contract in CI and CC?
Contract.
Contract, right? So we don't worry about the orders. We worry about the contract and its data associated. Okay, the change order. There is something issue. There is some issue. I'll look at the other server. What I do now is I'll do something. Okay, so let's go into the flow. What is our flow? So here we are, right? We created a contract, and we are able to successfully distribute the data to CA and CC. But the changes, we are able to execute the change process. The relevant configurations are done, but there seems to be a date issue, is because of which we cannot see. I mean, let's see on 19th, right? We did some activation on 19th, right? Let's see, tomorrow we'll come and see whether those change orders get applied to this contract or not. At the moment, everything is inactive. Only the item 10 is active. 20 and 30 they are not active because their date is 19th. Let's see tomorrow if they get activated or not. But definitely there is a time zone issue. That's the reason it is not taking those changes into effect. Okay. Now what I'll do is we'll see that tomorrow. For now, what we do is we will see how we handshake the data. When we handshake the data to CI so that we can do invoicing by the end of it. So from contract, okay, from order to contract, from order we generated a contract. Now what is the next step? From contract, what do we need? What do we need to generate?
You're billing CI, right? Actually,
Yeah. We are now moving into CI. So in
okay.
CI, what do we need to do? We need to do, we
Billing
need to
plan.
generate a billing plan. Okay, how do we link this contract to billing plan, and what is the purpose of this? So what this billing plan will do? So from billing plan, a billable item gets generated. On the billable items, we do the billing, and on the billing document, we do the invoicing. This is the flow, right? So output of a billing plan is what? Always a billable item, right? Output of a billing plan is always a billable item. Let's go and see what is a billing plan and how we integrate that with our contract. Okay. Now let's go into SPRO again, and let's configure the billing plan, and then we go into the next sessions of it. Okay. Let's go inside the SPRO again. Go to SPRO. So from contract, we need to handshake the data to billing plan. So how do we configure a billing plan? Go into SPRO, and if you go into financial accounting, contract accounts and receivables. This is where we configure a billing plan. So billing plan, go to convergent invoicing, enhanced functions, billing plan. Okay. So how do we see a billing plan? How do we see a billing plan? Let's see a sample data. Okay. I'll say FKK Bix underscore bill plan. Okay. This is a T code to see a billing plan. And look for what do we, you can use any of the parameters. We are dealing with contracts. So look for, I'll just do a wide open search. There are a lot of data that are already there. Let's open any of the data. Okay, I'll say 20642. For this, there is a billing plan. Okay, and enter. This is the billing plan. This is how a billing plan looks like. Okay, how a billing plan looks like is this one. So it has header data. This is your header data, and this is your item data. Okay, similar to order and the order, right? We have a transaction type which holds the header data, and we have an item category which holds the item data, right? Similar concept. Billing plan, it has header data and it has item data. Okay, so what this billing plan will do, this billing plan will generate what? The output of a billing plan is what?
Billing items, right?
Billable items, right?
Billable items, yes.
And the output of a billing plan is what? A billable items. Okay, how do we see a billable items? You can go to, see, there is a billable items, right? Environment billable items, and you can also generate, you can also execute a billable items. Okay, now let's understand this billing plan. So this is, as I mentioned, right? So this is header data and this is item data. And the header data, you have two important things. Okay, one is billing plan category. Okay, if you are defining any billing plan, on the header part of it, you have a billing plan category and a billing plan type, right? That is on the header data. And at the item, you have a billing plan item category and billing plan item type. These are the two fields. Okay, these two fields and these two fields we need to understand and we need to configure. Okay, output is a billable item. Okay, how do we see a billable item? FKG bits bitmon is a T code. This is a screen for billable items. We'll see in CI. We'll see the screen a lot of times. Okay. If you want to see any of the billable items available in the system, you go to the screen. Okay, just click on all items. Click on execute. It displays a list of items. Okay. List of items. List of billable items that are available in the system. Okay, you see, right now it displayed few of the things. A lot of things are there, right? A lot of data is there. So every record is a billable item. Every record is a billable item. Okay. So right? How do we identify a record using a structure? Right. Structure gives us the schema, right? In a database table, what is a record? It's a list of fields, right? List of fields given by a structure, right? Similarly, in the billable items, how do we define the fields specific to this billable item? You see at the top there is status, item ID, there are a list of fields, right? You see different fields are there. How they are defined? So the fields that you see at the top are given by your there is a field called bit class. You see a bit class. It gives us the skeleton, or the placeholder. Okay, it tells us, okay, what are the fields that every billable item contains. Leave about the data. So data is that we enter. Okay, but bit class gives us the structure, the skeleton of it. Okay, bit class gives us the skeleton using which we store all the data into all the store as a billable item. Okay, so bit class is an important terminology. We'll see that what is a bit class. So bit class is required. Bit class tells us what is the skeleton to store the billable items. What are the fields? It tells us what are the fields. Okay, so whenever a billing plan, we do something on top of this billing plan, it generates a billable item. Okay, now let's go and configure. We need to make it, we need to make it work in such a way that our contract can create a billing plan, and we can create a billable items for our contract, right? If you look at, right, this billable item, these are all the billable items, right? Let's go and see a billable contract. Okay, so let's see, there is a contract called 20828. Okay, 20828. Let's search for the contract 20828. I want to see the billable items generated for this contract. Execute. It displays only the items which are executed, which are created for 20828. Right? This is my contract. These are all these are, I mean, it has only one billable item generated for this contract. And this billable item is generated using a bit class test. Okay. Now our contract 20, what is our contract? 2084, right? Let's go and see whether there are any billable items there. What do you think? Do we have a billable item for this? 2084, right? There
No,
is no
not
data
right.
because we did not
Because we don't
establish
have
it.
a billing plan.
Yeah, we did not establish that link, right? So nothing is generated at the moment. Now let's see how we generate a billable items for our billing for our contract. Okay. The first step is what? Let's go and configure the billing plan. Go to the configuration now. Go to convergent invoicing, enhanced functions, billing plan, number range. You can create a number range. So right now, what are the number range? Let's see. 0, 1 to 5. There are a lot of other number ranges. You can use any of it, or otherwise, if you want to customize, you can customize. You can create a new one also. You can create a new one also if you want. 0, 7. From some range, let's say I'll give 9,000. Okay, 9,000 to all lines. I'll give. Right, this is my number range. 0, 7. Let's save this one. So first thing is display define billing plan, right? Let's go and define a billing plan. Okay. So if you look at any of the existing billing plans, right? Let's look at this billing plan. So a billing plan has a billing plan category, right? So billing plan type and a billing plan category. What is this? This is a header data, right? So this is my billing plan. Okay, let's say that let's copy this one. My billing plan is 14. I'm going to create now. This is my billing plan type 14. And what is my billing plan category? Let's go. Okay. So by default, SAP has given three different options. Okay. So I want to what is our goal now here? I want to generate a billing plan for the contract, right? Provider contract. So that's the reason I'm going to select BIP VT. Okay. We cannot change this one. This is the standard. We cannot change. And what this billing plan going to generate? What is the output of it? There is a bit class. You see, this is what a class, right? What is it says? Billable billable item class, right? Are you following, guys? You there?
Yes, Karthik.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Right. So this is my header. Okay. Now let's save this one. So my this GBP 14 is my billing plan type I created. Okay. So this bit class we haven't created. I'm using the existing one just to make use of it. I'm just making use of it. Okay. We will change it later when we create our own billable item class. We'll see first what is a billable item class and all those things. We'll see later. But when we do that, we'll come here again and we'll change it. Okay, these are all linked. Okay, I'm leaving the links open so that we can connect the dots again. Okay, when we get to that billable item, then we'll connect this dot again. Now, next is what we have this header. Okay, so let's treat this as a header, and we have an item also, right? We need to define item also. So, what is my item? Okay, so let's define an item. Let's copy. I'll say GBI. Okay, billable item 14 is my item. What it says. Okay, so BIP 01, what is this is one setting that we need to do. So BIP 01, what is it? Billing plan item. Right, exception is some if you are if any wrong data or if you are entering any, you don't want to execute that, we go for BIP 02, but BIP 01 is the one we always use. Okay, BIP 01 is a standard we use. We don't extend this also, it's a standard one. It's always a bill plan item, BIP 01. And it says, you see, recurring items. The checkbox, what is the checkbox? It is checked, right? It means that this is a recurring billing plan item. Okay, it's not one time. This billing plan item, we use it multiple times. It's a recurring. What is my start date? Start date of the item, that is our contract. And rule start date, we'll see this. There is one more concept of the billing cycle, that also will come to know. But we'll say that right now what we are saying, I'm defining a billable item, billing plan item, which is of a recurring type, right? And on the billable items, there is something required. Okay, sub process and billable item types. I'm just keeping as it is. We are going to define this. I'm giving the old data only. I'm just existing data. I'm keeping as it is. Right now we don't need that. I'm keeping as it is. So I created my billing plan type as well as billing plan item type. I need to link it, right? How do we kind of item category determination, right? How do we do that? Assign item types to the billing plan types. Okay, execute. So what is my billing plan type? GBP 12. GBP 14 is my billing plan type, for which my item type is GBP 14. GBI 14, right? I linked it. Okay, I linked my header to the item. Now save this one. So what are the things that we left here? Here we mentioned there is something called sub process and billable item type, these two. And on the header we use the one when we need to come and change this one. Okay, three things we need to change. Right now I'm just using the existing ones. Okay, let's go back. Now this is only billing plan, right? But we haven't. How does our contract know that I have to use this billing plan? How does our contract know? For that there is another setting. Until this point of time, there is no. I mean, we haven't talked about the contract, right? It is only a billing plan we created. But how does our contract know that I have to use the billing plan I created? For that, we have to go to
Do
again
we define
SQL.
that in contract type?
No, we didn't. We didn't actually. There is a link we need to provide. Okay, again, we are going to our contract. So go to service, transactions, settings for subscription transactions, and here is the recurring fees. Right now we are not dealing with one-offs. We'll come to this one-off. Now we are dealing with recurring. Okay, because my billing plan item type is of recurring. Go to recurring fees. Configure settings using a billing plans for conversion events. Okay, let's click on it. Billing plan cycle rules. These are all will come to this billing plan cycle again. Assign billing plan and billing plan item types. Okay, execute this one. So what is my transaction type? Contract. What is my contract? GC12, GC14, right? GC14 is my
Yeah, yeah.
contract.
ZC 14, yes.
Yeah.
Right now, let's link our GC14 with the billing plan and open type. Okay, let's copy it. So GC14 is my transaction type, and what is my item? Item type on the contract GC14. Also, that is also GC.
14 itself.
And what is my billing plan? GBP14. And what is my billing plan item type? GBI14, right? GBI14. This is my item and this is my header. Okay, I did a linking of it. Let's save this one. Now, okay, now in the invoicing, what is the amount that we are going? Let's say you're recurring. Let's say you have a. What is our PSMB? PSMB is a recurring amount, right? The condition type PSMB is a recurring amount that we are using, right? Remember from our last class, PSMB is our recurring type. PR00 is our one time, right? So
Yeah,
PSMB,
yeah.
let's say
Correct.
it is $20. Okay, so PSMB $20. I want to charge the $20 to the customer. That means that PSMB I need to pass to my billing plan. The PSMB holds the $20, right? So that I have to pass to billing plan, and again it gets passed to other systems. And how do we pass the data? Pass the where, I mean, in the orders and the contracts. What are how we are storing the prices using
That's the
condition
scenario
type,
is
right?
the right condition type.
Right, pricing procedure. Inside pricing procedure we have condition types. Condition types hold the prices. Now I have to specifically mention, okay, what are the condition types that you want to pass to the billing plan. Okay, so that you have to maintain here. Now let's go and maintain for our contract GC14. From GC14 is my contract, and GC14 is my item on which I have a condition type PSMB that I am passing to my billable item, billing plan item type. What is my billing plan item type?
BA1,
GBI, GBI 14, right?
BI14. Okay.
Right. This is my. I'm trying to link now. Okay. So I linked that. So PSMB, whatever the PSMB holds, it gets linked into billing plan item type. Now let's go and test this thing first. Okay. Let's see how it works. Okay. Now let's go create a new contract. Is 14. So my sold to is 180 182. My product is 80057. Let me submit this one. So a contract 20849 is generated. Let's see whether it is technically active. It is of 500 USD, and it is starting from today, and ending date is this one, and it is technically active. Okay, 20849. Let's go and see this. So it is technically active. Yes, that means it is replicated to CC and CA. Let's see whether a billing plan is created for this or not. Okay, so how do we see a billing plan? FKK bits underscore bill plan. Enter. And what is my contract? 20849. See, there is a billing plan created. You see the fields here. I mean, do you see the? Uh, you see, this is our billing plan type, right? GBP 14 is we created for VT. And what is my item? GBI 14. Okay, so my condition type, the condition type I mapped is PSMA, which is holding the $500, right? It replicated and it is valid from and valid to. And if you look at this is my contract, and this is my contract account, this is my business partner, it is valid from and valid to. These are the some of the data that you can take a look at it. And go to administrative data. In the administrative data, the status, if you look at the status, what it says released. Okay, so released means what? It is the billing plan is active. Released is what? Billing plan is active. You can generate billable items from this one. Okay, until the status becomes closed, completed, you can generate a billable items. If the status is R, we can generate a billable. That's a main purpose of this billing plan, right? And if you look at that, what is the next request date? Next request date is what? What is the output of it? Output of this billing plan? A billable item. Okay. You can generate a billable item on 18/5. That is the meaning of this next request date. Okay. So before we generate any billable item, let's go and see any billable item generated for this contract 20849. Okay. Let's go to FKK. What is the T code? FKK Bixbitmon. Bixbit underscore mon. Let's look for the open and all items. And what is our contract? 20849. Guys, you should follow this. Otherwise, it becomes tough for you to understand CI things. Okay, we are slowly pitching into CI. I'm just introducing concepts. Okay, so the billing plan we are creating now. Okay, if it, let me know if you don't understand. Okay, otherwise it becomes difficult for you to understand. Now there is no contract generated. I mean there is no billable item. We are trying to look for the billable items for our contract. It says no data found. Okay, now what I do is I'll go to my billing plan. This is where I am going to generate my billable items. How do I generate? Okay, first thing is see that the status is R and then copy this next request date. What is my next request date? 18/5. Let's copy this one. Go to at the top. If you look at the top, billing plan, request, execute. Okay, so 18/5 is the request date. Click on execute. What it is saying? Created a billable items, right? It created a billable items. Okay, close this one. Now go to the billable item screen FKK Bixbitmon and for 20849 execute now. You see there is a billable item created. And during our billing plan configuration, we have used this G12B, right, as our bit class because we haven't created this bit class. We have used, I mean, we borrowed it from, we borrowed this from existing data, the sub process and the billing billable item type. These are all we borrowed. I mean, we haven't gone there. That's the reason we are using the existing one. Okay, so where is this CBA? How is this data coming from? These are coming from our billing plan only, right? So I specifically mentioned in the billing plan that you go to our billing plan configuration, go to financial accounting, contract accounts receivables, conversion invoicing, enhanced functions, billing plan types. If you look at GBP 14, what is my billable item class? G12B, right? That's what we see, right? And also if you go to your billable item types, what do you see? GBI 14, display this one, SP12 and BR12. So if you look at this, SP12 and BR12. But what are these? And we will understand. Okay, slowly we'll understand. But our main goal is to generate a billable item. First thing is we need to link our contract with the billing plan that we have done, and then we generated a billing plan billable item. But the billable item generated, these are all not ours. Okay, these are all somebody else's. Okay, let's see how do we create our own billable item class and our own billable items, and that are all under CI. Tomorrow we'll see the concept of, I mean, yeah, next thing. Okay, next thing is let's go to our billable billing plan again. Okay, see here the last request is 18/5, which we have done it just now, and again the next request is updated, right? This is a monthly, that's the reason every month it's a date is getting updated. Now next request is on 1/6/2024. If I want to create one more billable item, what I do, I go to billing plan again, request, execute again. So what is my request date? I need someone to tell me.
1 June. 1 June 2024.
Right, execute. A billable item is created. See, last request is 1/6 and the next request is 1/7. That means a billable item is already created. Let's go and refresh our screen again here. You can refresh here or you can go back and execute it again for our contract. We should see two items now. Right, two items are created. Okay, this is our first one and this is our second one. Are you getting it now? So these are all my billable items. Okay, so if you look at the bill from, okay, so the bill from date and bill to date. Okay, what is my bill from date? From and to dates. Let's look at the from and to dates and the amount also. Okay, so actually the amount is $500 per month, right? For a month, amount is $500. But for the first bit, why it is 225.81?
It has taken on pro rata basis, but in that case.
Yes, exactly. It's a pro rata, right?
But sir, what
So
is the
my,
setting for that? Allowing
yeah,
it
I'll
to take
take,
on pro rata basis? Okay,
yeah,
fine, fine.
yeah, that will come to know. There is something called scheduling and all. We'll see that. Okay.
Okay,
So
fine.
my contract started on 18/5. From 18/5 to 31. This is my from and to date for which the amount is prorated. and this is the second one is for the entire month. That's the reason you see a $500, right? If you click on again one more, uh, you can create one more, and you'll see another billable item. So what I'm trying to create now, what I'm trying to do now here from billing plan, what I'm trying to
Billable
do now,
item. Another billable item.
yeah, I'm going to generate another billable item, right? So my request date is on 1/7 that I have taken it from next requested. Click on execute. So another billable item is created. Now let's go and
For
see
1st of July.
from 1st of July there is another, right? So from 1st of July to, sorry, where is it? Not here. There is a from date and to date here. 1st of July to 31st of July for that 1 month, right? This is for June and this is prorated, and you see the amounts 500, 500, and first one is a prorated. So this is how a billing plan integration with our contract. Okay. So we are next step is what we need to understand. We got a fair idea of what is a billing plan, how we integrate with our product contract for recurring only. So this is a recurring only, right? Not one time. We'll see one time. There is one time scenario also. We'll see that. What is this?
Okay.
This is a recurring. If you look at this item, right? If you look at this item, status is released, and there is something called it's a recurring. It says us whether it's a recurring or not. Okay. See,
It's a
this is
tick over
recurring.
there.
Yeah,
In billing
recurring
this.
item. That means it generates recurring items based on the. I mean, if you don't do anything on next request date until 8/1, nothing gets generated. Okay, so on 8/1 again one more billable item gets generated. So it's a recurring thing. If it is a one time, we'll see. We haven't seen what is a one-off charge and other things, right? One time, how do we configure? We'll see that also.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now,
Sir, in that billable, in that transaction, right? Yeah, over here, for the first line item, it has not taken the main transaction. Sir, any reason for that?
yes, yes. If you look at right,
Okay.
main transaction.
Yeah.
You know about main transactions of transaction?
Yes, sir. I'm aware of it, sir.
Okay. So they are, I mean, purpose of them to determine the GLs during invoicing and
Correct, sir. Correct.
right. So why did not determine? There is something wrong with this, right? And there is something wrong with this. That's the reason. If you look at this one, right, the status of the billable item, what it
Yeah, it
is,
has. Okay, fine. Because
it's
of an
raw.
error, it has not taken. Otherwise, it should take ideal.
Yeah, it should take. Yeah, there is some error. That's the reason it didn't. So it created a raw bit. Otherwise, if everything is fine, you see a billable item in status billable. You see the status
Yeah, pre-class
billable.
status as 2.
Yeah, it's a status as 2.
Fine,
The
sir.
status
Understood,
is
sir.
okay. So something that means there is something wrong with that. That's the reason it didn't create. It created the data as raw.
Fine, sir.
Okay. Chinmay, so very good.
Yes, sir. Take. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, so where are we now? Let's go to our flow. So the change process is something we need to look at it, but I need to look at the dates. That's fine. So now what? So the billing plan we have done. We'll see the one-off. Let's see the one-off charge also. Okay. Let's see how do we what is a one-off charge, and right now it is a recurring, right? Let's go to our contract again. Okay. Or let's go to our order again. Shall we take a break for 10 minutes?
Yeah, better, sir. 10 minutes break is better.
Yeah. Let's connect at
Yeah,
7
sure,
o'clock.
please. Yeah.
6:45 p.m. here. Let's connect at 7 p.m.
15 minutes break. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank
Okay.
you. Thanks. Mm.
This conference will now be recorded.
So where are we now? Okay, let's see. So this billable item uh, billing plan, right? So this is the path we are following. So billing plan has created. I mean, the purpose of why we are using a billing plan in CI, because we wanted to generate one-time and recurring for using a billable item. For one-time and recurring charges, we want to generate billable items from contracts. For that purpose, we are using a billing plan. Okay. Now, uh, let's see how do we configure this one time, or shall I first? Okay, before one time. Okay, so we understood that to create a billable item. Okay, to create a billable item, what are the things required? I mean, what are the things that we are using in billing plans? Specific to billable items. In billing plan, what did we use? What information of a billable item class we used in billing plan? We used a billable item class, right? Yes or no? Hello.
Yes, sir. We had used that. Correct.
Okay. See, if you don't say yes or no, I don't know. I mean, I assume that you are following it. Okay. I don't ask again. I assume. I mean, if you have any doubt, just let me know. Okay. So, in billing plan, we used some information specific to billable item. Some information specific to billable items, right? So, one is a billable item class, one is a sub process, and one is what is the other one?
I don't remember actually.
Billable item type, right? So, billable item type.
Hmm.
This is your billable item type. So these three informations, I mean, these three information we used. Okay, so billable item type. Okay, so this information, these three information are mandatory. I mean, let's say if you're creating any billable item, leave about billing plan. Okay, if you're generating a billable item, billable item from external system, or if you're generating a billable item from CC. Okay, always remember these three data. Okay, these three information are needed. Okay, every time you need to pass these three. Okay, right now we are using in billing plan. Okay, in future in CC also we generate. At that time also we need these three information. Okay, if you want to create a billable item in CA. Okay, even external system also. Let's say if you are generating a billable item from external system also. Okay, they need this information. Otherwise, you cannot create. You cannot create a billable item in CI. Okay, remember this. Okay, now let's understand what is a billable item, and how it is getting generated, and what are the important data that we store inside it. Okay, now let's look at billable item class. Billable item class. So billable item class is what? You see, this is all the data you see, right? If you look at how do I look at the details of- where is the details of it? Not so, details here. Okay, let's look at the details of it. So you see, these are all the list of fields, right? Status, transaction type, status of the billable item, source transaction ID, billable item class, sub process, billable item type, corporate account, business partner. You see a bunch of fields are there. Okay. from where these fields are coming from, and how do we know, these fields are coming from which place? Your bit class, this bit class. See, I just clicked onto this bit class. Okay, it took me here, and if you see the tables, see the list of fields here: transaction type, ID, status of the bill of ladder, billable category, status of process, bit type. These are all the fields. Okay, so for this billable item class, it has list of fields. So every billable item class, it gives us a list of fields. But how this billable item class gives us a list of fields? It uses something called interface components. Interface components. Interface components contain structures. They contain structures. Okay, and this interface components gives us the list of fields. Okay, let's go and see how to create a billable item class. Okay, how do we create a billable item class? Go to SPRO again. Go to financial accounting, contract accounts receivables and payables. In this, we go to convergent invoicing. Okay, so we are in convergent invoicing now. Okay, so I used a long path, right? There is a shortcut also. Okay, the shortcut to this, instead of SPRO, use FICA FICA IMG. See, it's a shortcut. Okay, shortcut to this node. Okay, now I'm into convergent invoicing. Go to basic functions. Okay, we'll see the scheduling. Scheduling is something we need to discuss, but we'll understand what is a billable item, and then we'll see few of the things later. So click on billable items. I want to create a billable item class first. Okay, there are few settings that we need to follow. Click on billable item class. Maintain billable item class. Okay, execute that one. So I want to create a billable item class. Let me copy one existing ones, and I'll create the okay. Now let me copy this one. I'll create my billable item class G, also 14B. Okay, 14B is of my billable item class. Billable item class 14. Okay. Now click on this is how a screen comes. Here we need to select the interfaces. Okay, at the top you see interfaces. Okay. So for your purposes, these are all the different interfaces which gives us, I mean, what is an interface? Okay, if you see, I selected basic data for billing, reverse receivables, external reference, billing quantity. So I selected few of the interface components, right? But what are these interface components, and why do we need interface components on the billable item class? Okay, just click on
These
OK.
are
This one.
structures. This will be
What is
the
that?
structures, right? These
Yes,
will be
yes,
the
exactly.
structures. Technical structures.
That's right. That's right. That's right. So I selected a billable item class. Let's go and see G14. What is my billable item class? G14B. Right? G14B is a class I created just now. Go back. So while creating a billable item class, I selected few interfaces, right? So where are they coming from? We go to define interface components. See, these are all the interface components. that we can use. Okay, what is the purpose of these interface components? They give us, if you open any of the, select any of the interface component, uh, BRM6, see, assign structures. Okay, so all the interface components gives us the list of structures. Okay, these structures contain the fields. Go to Control N again, SE11, interface structure. See source transaction type, ID, and type. So every interface component contains structures, and each structure contains list of fields. What are we doing here? We are assigning these interface components. Let's say uh, if you want to use, if you want to hold, master agreement, okay, master agreement data. So, but on your, if you want to display master agreement data on the billable item class, you need to have the corresponding fields also, right? For that purpose, SAP has given something called master agreement. Okay, so that master agreement component contains fields specific to the master agreement, similar to that. Okay, so these are the standard interface components. You don't have to change or you don't have to enhance. It's already they are enough to use it in any business. Okay, now let's go to maintain billable item class again. G14B. So what I've done, I've created a billable item class. I selected interfaces. I needed few interfaces. I selected those. Okay. If you think that if you are using a payment specific data, then you need to select this card payment, payment card data, payment service providers. If you are using a tax, you use the tax data determined externally, tax code. These are all different interface components that you can use. It's purely based on your requirement. Okay. Now let's check the syntax and activate. This turns green. See, it's green now. It is active. Okay, let's save this one. So G14B is our billable item class. Story not over it. We still need something. So next thing is what? I assign interface components. Okay. So if you look at G14B, I just activated. I created interface components and I assigned. I activated that G14B. Where is it? Yeah, here, right. And if you look at the, where is it? Oh, it copied also. Tables also get copied now. Okay. It was created, that's the reason it got copied. But what happens is when you assign, these fields will be empty. Okay, then what happens, you need to go and generate, so that, where is my G14B? Then this is the next step. You need to generate G14B. It is still not generated, right? It is not generated. If you look at the objects, do you see any objects here for G14B? It is blank,
They
right?
all blank.
It is blank. Now let's go and generate this one. Okay, right now the objects are blank. Let's go and generate, see what happens. The generation takes time. Let's give it a minute.
Let's see. Time to ask.
Okay. So let's click on OK. G14 bit is generated. Now let's look at the objects. Okay. So this generation created, you see the tables are created, some tables are created, and some function groups are created, some function models are created, and some views are created. Okay. So what are these different objects, and how do we use them? Okay. So every billable item class, okay, every billable item class contains list of tables and a function model. Okay, this is a function model. If you look at this, what is this function model? When we generate this function, the for us, this function model is generated. Right? So what is this? One
Creates
FE.
the billable items. Huh?
Yeah. So if you want to create any billable item, it's an API. Okay, this is a function model using which you can create billable items. Okay, you don't need any billing plan or in a standalone. I mean, let's say if you want to create ad hoc billable items. Okay, ad hoc billable items you can directly create. Any other external system is creating a billable item, they have to send the data to this billable item FM function model. Okay, so if you want to generate a billable items for your class, you have to use this function model. Okay, and there are some data. Okay, so tables. If you look at these tables, I just copied one of the table. I just copied one of the table generated. So here, if you look at right, 0FE 0, it's constant. 014B 0 and IT. Okay, so this is an FM or API, and this is what a table generated object, right? It is a table generated. Okay, every table, I mean every table that you look at in any of the CI specific to billable item classes and consumption item classes, they follow the same pattern. Okay, let's say you have a table for let's say you have there is a class for 12 also, right? So how a 12 table looks like? G12B. Let's say that I have a billable item class G12B. How it looks like? It looks like this. That's it. Remaining are same. Okay. Now this is my billable item class, right? I'll copy and copy down.
The zero
So
IT remains the same.
this is a constant, and this is my billable item class, and this is the status. Okay, it's a status.
It will always be
Status of
raw.
billable item. No, no, it's not always in the raw. It's one of the status of the billable item, and it is a type of
So,
data. Type of
so
data,
then, okay.
right?
So this
Zero
function
IT
model, sir,
and
that we are getting it now. This function model is an API, right?
It's an API, yes.
Yeah. So this is so will this also though this is now when we are generating our data in the same system, will this function model be called at that point in time, or is
Yes,
it only
yes.
for external systems?
No, no. Even internally also it gets called.
Okay.
Even from billing plan also it gets
And all these structures of this table fields will be available in the same function model. It will update all of these fields.
exactly.
Fine, sir.
and if
Understood.
Every
there's
table.
any errors while execution of the function model or creation of the bits, then how can we troubleshoot that?
The log should be available in that case.
Yeah, yeah. There is a
Yeah,
there is
yeah.
a it returns the error
Is it the
messages.
Standard log is available.
Log is
yeah?
also
Is it
available.
the SLC logs something like that?
SLG1 we need to configure, but this FM returns the error messages. We'll see. I mean, there is a and we will come to this also. Okay, we'll create
Okay.
not for billable items but for consumption items. Okay, for consumption items we create on our own. At that time, you'll see the different error messages and how do we correct those. Right now, also you can look at it. What is it? Let's go and create a billable item. It's let's finish this one, okay, and we'll go to that API. So I'll say okay. Now let me go to SC37. So this function model is available, and you have this. You see what are these? These are specific to your billable item class, right? So just click on execute and you provide the data, IT data, and when you click on execute, you get the messages. If there is anything error, you get a message in the ET messages. You can see that. We'll create one data, but before that, we need to have some data. We need to set up the configuration first, then we'll go to that. Okay, now let's understand that this is an API we understood, and we execute this to create the billable items for this billable item class. Okay, so this contains out of the generated objects, the tables are most important, and you see every table has a kind of this structure. So until this part, it is specific. Okay, now the next one. Okay, so next one tells us the status of the billable item. So what are the different statuses available? 0, 1, 2, 3. I guess 4 is also available. So what is 0?
Raw, raw
For you,
processable processed.
raw, and
Mm,
2 is billable, 3 is uh, 3 is I accept. No, 3 is 1 second. Let me go there and see.
basically, zero IT, one IT, two IT is if
Yes, yes,
we
yes.
know
That's true.
something. Yeah.
See, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. 0 is raw. Raw is what?
Mm,
Whenever you see a billable item with a raw, that means it's the data is not correct. Okay, something is wrong with the data. Raw accepted is raw accepted is when we don't want to use this raw data and we accept it. Okay, that will go into, that means no further processing is allowed on top of it. So always make sure if you want to do your billing on top, if you want to proceed with your billable item, it should be in two status. If it is not in two status, you cannot proceed further. Okay. 3 is, let's say you did a billing and you reversed the document. Okay, and you don't want to continue, you reverse the billing, and that will go into billable accepted. Okay, 4 is a kind of, 4 is if the billing document is billed, if the billable item is billed, the status will be in 4 status. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4.
So, yeah.
Yes, good. Yeah.
So, is there an exception reason or exception, like why it is accepted certain items in the raw or billable status, certain items uh,
No, no,
still.
actually, it's not accepted. Accepted when you get accepted only if you reverse it, and if you don't want to use, I don't want to use this one. Okay, what I'll do, I'll say accept. Okay, so I don't want to further processing in it. Okay, I'll say
Yeah, so this
inconsistent
one
data
accepted.
accepted.
Okay, okay,
Okay, I
got it.
accepted this. Now the status of it what?
Yeah, so reason
So it's
or exception, and then
uh,
restore. We can restore it with some reason as well. Okay,
we can restore also. Yes,
okay.
we can restore also.
Hmm.
But that means that is corrected. I mean, if you correct and you can restore, you can accept. So always better, I mean, if you are not doing anything, accept it. Okay, so that it's understandable, right? I mean, see, in production you won't have access to all these things. Okay, you cannot do, only the business unit team, they'll the business users will have an access.
Correct.
because it's all money, right? You look at $500 every bit,
Mhm.
right? When we do invoicing, it's a $500 to the customer we are charging.
Yeah.
Money. So you should be careful. I mean, it looks simple, but you should be careful here. It's all money. Okay. Now, yeah. So the tables, right? So for each and every, you have what is an IT type of data I was saying, right? So what are the different types of data we have? What is IT? IT is a main data. IT is a main data. Okay, it says main data, and there is a PY. PY is a payment data. Payment data. There is a TX, which is tax data.
Karthik, can you also share this notepad?
I have it on the in the server only.
I don't have access to the remote server,
Okay,
and I was wondering whether I could even take it because I will
I'll
get a
I'll, I'll keep it,
sandbox, right?
anyway. I'll keep it. I'm everything. I'm keeping in the server only. It's not local. PT
Okay.
is a text.
So we'll access the server and get it from there, now, sir. In that case.
Yeah, you can get it. Yeah, you can get it. I mean, I can if you want. I think who is using NS3, NS for Brim 3?
Anyway, sir,
That
in
is,
the
I think,
recording,
my user ID. I think I can access it. I have seen it. I can share this notepad.
You can
but in
access,
the
right?
recording, all this is as it is. It will be as it is visible.
Recordings.
In the recordings, when we see this, will be as it is visible in that.
Yeah, it
Mm-hmm.
is. It is visible. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm recording this one.
Yeah, yeah, fine.
So the tables it contain we have different kind of tables. Okay, so one is a raw. Okay, so what is the other combination you have? You can have one data,
Raw
right? This
SSD.
is one
This
data,
0IT, 1IT, 2IT, 3IT.
280, 380. So for each and every combination, a table gets generated. And also similarly for TX, you'll get TX and PY. Similarly with the one TX, one PY, one two TX, two PY, three TT. All those things get generated. That's the purpose of generating it. Okay. So we understood the status of it, and let's now go back to our configurations again.
What are the types you said? We have payment, main item, payment,
Yeah, we have
tax.
tax, payment, and text.
So where is conditions in this condition? Like pricing and all falls under main?
It is main. Only payment related. Let's
Okay.
say you're using a payment card data information. Okay, that payment card data will go into PY
Mm-hmm.
data. Okay, if you're
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
the taxes that you configure, right? The tax data,
Yeah.
the tax data will go into TX. Any
Yes.
texts are available, the data will go into TX. If you go into this billable item, right? Where is the billable item? Yeah, let me go into the billable item. Let's see the source transaction. You see main items. Main item. This is
Got it.
IT. This is PY. This is TX, and this is TT.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
okay, sir.
When my
In that configuration, we are assigning our condition types, right? So in that we can we I noticed we can assign multiple, but can we also need to assign our tax condition type there as well?
yes, you can assign. Let's say if you are determining your taxes on the order and
Huh.
you want to pass the data to billable items, what do you do in the billing plan configuration? What we have
Yes,
done, we have to add that condition type, and we should have
condition
one
types,
more
correct.
one more billable item type. This is, I mean, I used it as a generic. Okay, G14, GBI 14 as a generic. You
Fine.
can have n number of billing plan items. Okay, one is for tax, one is for discount, one is for gross, one is for net. I mean, whatever you want, you can use any number of items here. Everything
Okay.
will be under a single billing plan, and they get transferred to billable item when we create. Let's say the tax, let's say if you have a tax data, okay, the tax determination, tax data specific will go into tax, and the payment data will go into payments, everything, the data will go into different sections of your billable items,
Okay.
right? You can have multiple condition types also. It's not just one. It's an item.
Yeah,
You
that
can
I
any.
noticed. I noticed that we can have multiple condition types assigned to one. So
Yes,
if my contract has got, one of plus recurring, and then plus I've got a tax also on that, or maybe there's a discount condition also in that. All the four can be assigned to one in over here.
one off. I mean, don't club with one off and recurring. One off is another charge, right? So it's a separate.
Ah,
Will be part of your separate SKU kind of. Okay,
okay,
separate product it is. So
okay,
activation is a product in SAP. When we, it's a charge. It's a kind of sub item, right? It's a product in SAP.
okay,
One
fine.
charge is a product, yeah. So that creates its own this thing. Recurring, it
Okay,
creates it. So this is specific to a contract. Okay, so whatever the contract, the data that we have, everything gets pulled in here.
fine, sir.
All the condition types, yeah. Now, let's see. So activated and I maintain this one. Now dialog. Okay, so maintenance dialog. What? Let's see. What is it? Okay, maintenance dialog. This will give us. Let's say if you want to change any information. Okay, the dialog screen gets with this a dialog screen gets generated. Okay. Maintenance dialog. I mean, if you want a dialog screen gets generated with this, so that you can edit your billable item. Okay, dialog screen is generated. Go back. Now this is on the billable item class. Now let's go to billable item management. Okay, we'll see billable item management, billable item transfer, reversal. We'll see all this. Now let's go to billable item management. So in this, few things we'll see. So one is activate billable item class, so that we can use that inside CI as well as inside CC. If you want to use this inside CC, you need to activate this also. Okay, so how do we activate? Just make an entry. That's it. Nothing other thing. So there is a target, right? Let's say, why do we need to activate this one? So G14B, enter. So there is a target. What is the purpose of this target? Let's say in CI, if you can do billing and invoicing in CI, okay. There may be, I mean, there may be scenario where you want to do the billing for this billable item in external systems, okay, outside of SAP. Then you maintain your target. This is altogether different flow. But for BRIM, we use CCI or we use CEI only to bill and invoice. Okay, but you need to activate that. So that the activation is the first next step. And now let's
So,
go back. Yes,
for my understanding, even we have to do invoicing and billing in CI, we still have to add this
yes,
bit
because
class
you
in
want to
there.
hand. It
Okay,
is, it is,
without no specific target. Okay.
it is mandatory. Yes. So
Okay.
I mean, I'll tell you the mandatory steps that you need to perform. Okay, whatever we have done are mandatory. Okay, there are optional. It's up to us, but mandatory things, yes. I'll go through the mandatory thing first, and optional we can see later.
I have a question. Maybe
Yes,
I think uh, we can see to it when we move into the usage part or usage items. Like,
consumption.
how is this bit connected to the CC charging?
Okay.
Yeah, maybe
Uh,
I think that might be during the usage we can discuss, right? On this.
During usage, yes. So what happens is there is another scenario. This is the second scenario, right? So
Yep,
even
we'll see
CC,
it later.
yeah, CC has to generate billable items. We'll come to that. Yeah.
Sure, sure.
Just first understand the flow, how we are linking it. See, the connecting dots. I mean, at least you should know the end-to-end flow first. Then we'll add, the things, missing parts and everything. We'll relink again. I mean, missing parts will link it again.
Yeah.
Okay, now what is the next thing? Define processing rules for billable items. Let's see, what is it? Okay, so a processing rule 2 is assigned. What is it? It should generate a billable item. Okay, so 2 is if you have any data with error, okay, you create that billable item as a raw. Okay, that's your
Mm.
processing rule. Let's say if you don't want to create any raw data, so that means what? Add only if all items are without errors, then only a billable item you see. That means you can't see a raw bit if it is 4. Okay, if there is a raw data, you are returning it. So it tells us, okay, depending upon the upload rule, how you want to accept. Okay, if it is 0, let's say 1 is CC. If it is 1, that means you don't want to create any billable item. You want to create everything as raw. Okay, so I'll use 2. That means any error on the data will create that bit as a raw bit. Let me edit. What is my 14, right? G14B. I'll add my G14B. Upload rule to G14B. If you want to maintain, I mean, while creating the data, if you want to maintain any uh, changes, okay, if you want to enrich the data of it, you can use this function model. Okay, it's a standard one, you need to customize it.
So what this will do, sir?
So let's say you're creating a billable item from billing plan, and you want to change any of the description, or you want to change any of the field values before you create the billable item. Okay, you can
Okay.
use that function
Okay.
model that gets triggered. You can use it, and you can change the data. You can modify the data.
Okay. That will be additional screen basically. That will come.
It's a function model behind the scene it runs whenever a billable item is created. Enrichment
Okay.
of the data. Okay. Now let's go
Okay,
back.
sir.
Extensions not required. Duplicate schema. Let's say duplicate schema. What is a duplicate schema? Okay, let's see. It's not mandatory though. So duplicate schema tells us, let's say you are creating a billable items, and I'm using a program to create a billable items. I uploaded 100 records. Okay, 100 billable items I'm uploading using that function model. And if any of the data is duplicate, how do we say that the data is duplicate? Based on the key fields, right? Based on the key fields that we identify. If the key fields have the same data, that means we mention it as a duplicate data. So schema, we create a schema. You can use any schema uh, and assign the fields. Okay, so what fields you want to consider as a unique fields? Okay, if any of these fields are repeating, that means it's a duplicate. This combination of fields are repeating means it's a duplicate, right? That schema you need to define. I mean, use the any fields that are available from the billable item class. You can make use of those fields, and let's say you can put a quantity also. Billable item quantity we don't use. I mean, we use a combination of your contract account, source transaction ID, few fields. I mean, we make which we make use to identify the record uniquely, and use that to create a schema. And schema, this assign this schema to our billable item class. Okay, so our billable item class, and we'll assign the schema. Whether this schema will say that, okay, based on the fields data that are coming in, if the same fields are same data is coming in, then it says it's a duplicate. Okay, whether to allow duplicates or not, we can say that also. Okay, duplicate check. Yes, this is a schema. I'm not creating. I mean, it's a straightforward understanding. That's the reason I'm not creating. Maybe you can take this as an assignment and you work on it. Okay.
Fine, sir.
Now, this is not required. Data storage. Yeah. One more thing is define changeable fields for billable items. Okay. So we created a maintenance dialog, right? It generates what is a changeable field inside a display billable item. Let's say you have some data available. Okay, you want to change this data. Click on this one. See, it says change. Click on it. It will take you to a screen. Change billable items. I'll select this one. And in this, one second, where is a change?
It looks
So
like it's
this all
allowing me to
happens
change all
through
the
the
fields.
GUIs.
Okay, so
Ideally,
let
only
me.
those fields mentioned they should be allowed to change, right?
Yes, that's a schema. Yes. So what are the fields you want a customer to change? So if you look at FKK Pix bit CWB, I guess. Yeah,
This all
CWB.
happens through the GUI screen,
For
right?
me,
Not through a Fury app.
There is a Fury app. One second. These are all GUI screen. Billable items and all. You can monitor the items on the Fury also. One second. Let me display first.
actually, for me, the screen is lagging. Actually, I'm still on the change billable item screen.
Yeah, I'm there only.
That's where we are. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
I'm trying to show how we can change the billable item, right? And how the screen looks like.
Oh, no, I mean that input parameter screen of change billable items.
Now,
Yeah. Now we
uh,
are display of items.
is it the same for you
Is it
now?
same for all or only for me it is?
I can see display
Yeah.
of billable items.
Now I changed to change billable items.
Yeah, I'm in that screen from quite some time.
Oh, let me know if it is still lagging.
Yeah, I'm in the same screen, sir, actually. Let me change my screen and then come back.
Okay,
Okay,
so
I
there is
minimize and I maximize. Now it is fine.
okay. So seems like there is no maintenance dialog. See, there is no maintenance dialog. G12B is not generated. So that is the reason. If you want to change any of the data, first thing is maintenance dialog. It's one of our step, right? For 12B, we are trying to change, and it is not generated. So that's the reason it is not allowing us to change. So this change fields will allow. First thing is we need to maintain a maintenance dialog. Then we need to assign a schema. So define change field. Okay. So what is our billable item class? G14B, and also sorry. Let me go back. Execute G14B and the type of record type. Which one you want to allow them to change? Only IT data, PY data, tax data, or all data, and also status. Okay. We can control. Okay. So I want to allow them only to change the raw data.
Okay, I used to
Click on
using
it.
some very heavy data because मेरे को यहाँ lag हो रहा
What is that?
है. No, it's okay, sir. Continue, sir, please. Sorry.
So, yeah. Okay. So here we need to select the list of fields. One second. I think for this the raw data is not there. Go back. Let me select the IT data only, not all data, only the IT data. Go back. G14B. I'll say the record type is IT. If it is zero, I
So
want
it is
to.
main.
IT is a main data. We have structures on the IT only, right? Not TX, and we are not using tax and PY. So
Got
I'll say the billing quantity. Okay, so bit quantity I want to change. I want to change what else we can change.
Is this advisable or changing the contract is advisable?
See,
Like
changing
change
the
order.
contract is, let's say, if you we can have a number of billable items, right? So every time for a given month, if you let's say you have uploaded 1,000 billable items. So billable items can come from consumption items also. Okay, so it depends. Okay, so if you think that the data is wrong at the root level, then you do a change contract, right? If it is
Hmm.
not relevant to, it is only specific to certain billable items where the amount is wrong, or the calculated consumption data is wrong, from which a billable item is generated. Okay, in those cases, you use this workbench instead of anyway. You cannot. Let's say, okay, I'll tell you. Maybe I'm. I don't know whether I'm feeding more information or not, but
Hmm.
let me know if you think it is more. Then I'll go slow. Okay, so how we are generating a billable items? We are using a billing plan. A
Yeah.
billable item is generated, right? Billable item is generated. So billable item can also be generated from consumption items also. Okay, so consumption items
From CC
can
you
also, yeah, from CC can also generate, cannot can, it must generate. Okay, so billable item must be
mean.
generated. Okay, so from a billing plan, it is a contract that we understand, right? So if we are billing plan is generated means it's a contract. Contract is linked to billing plan, and so this kind of data, let's say that billable item is wrong, then we can change the contract data. Let's say if it is relevant for a contract, billable item contain only the price amounts, right? The other data also you can change, but most of the time we worry about the quantity, the dates, and the prices, right? You can change. But when the data is coming from a consumption item, okay, so I load 1,000 records a day, right? 10,000 records a day. Okay, so this billable item is generated from a consumption item. For this changes, you cannot go to a contract and change, right? Because it is the source of it is what? It is CC, right? Not the contract. So these cases you use the component workbench. Clear?
Yeah.
Okay, now I'll say bit amount. I'll use okay, let's see later. I'll not record all the things. Now I have I have maintained this billable item class. Only those two fields are changeable. Layout is okay. Next thing is what? Define sub process of billing. Okay. Now we'll go into a different concept, sub process. Remember, this is one of the other parameter. If you want to create a billable item, a sub process is mandatory. You need to pass this value. So what is this sub process? So sub process, what are we trying to do? We have a billable item class. We have a billable item, right? We have a billable item generated. Okay. Now the next thing is what? When we have a what is the next action on the billable item? What do we do after we have a billable item?
Mm. Process it.
Right? What is our next step? Once we have a billable item, the next step is what? We perform billing, right?
Billing. Transfer it. Okay.
We perform billing. So let's select this one. Okay, let's select bill this one. I'll say I'll bill it. Let's say bill.
Bill.
What it is saying? Your selection does not contain any billable items. Okay, and let's select this
Because
one.
it is okay.
So,
Like we
so
need to have it in some process, in some status to bill it, like raw or
no, not
billable.
that one. So, when we when we bill, okay, so I wanted to bill this billable item. The first thing that is required is my billing process and a sub process. Okay, so this sub process, it tells, okay, it says that, okay, let's say I'm doing a billing on all the three. Okay, let's bill it. And now SP12, BP12 is a billing process. I'll say that this is on 18.8 and click on export now. 18.8, 5th May. I'll say some date. I'll take some date. So how many it selected? We are trying to build three. It selected only two. Why? Because we know, I mean, there is out of these three, there is one bit which is raw. But how does that system know that, we have to select only two? So when we do the billing, okay, when we do the billing, there is a key role. I mean, the sub-process plays a key role. Okay, so it helps in identifying the relevant ones. It identifies the relevant ones. It identifies the billable items which are relevant for billing. Okay, that's a use of it. Okay, sub process we need to have it. Okay, so it tells us, which fields, which items are, which items we need to select and which items we need to ignore based on certain conditions. We'll see. There is a purpose for this sub process during the billing. So that's the reason you need a sub process. Okay,
But
and
sub process is the first item as well, right? But it only selected only the second and third.
sub
The
process
same
is,
sub process, the same sub process SP12 is there on the first line as well, but it only
huh,
selected the second and
yeah, that is what I'm trying to say. So this controls the selection of it. So in the billing process, this is not our billing process. It is already configured. Okay. So this sub process, there is a control assigned to it. Okay. So there are a list of settings assigned for
on
this
the
sub
sub
process
process.
in combination with the billing process. Okay.
Okay.
It helps in controlling. Okay. It helps in controlling the selection of the billable items. That's the purpose of it. Right now, we haven't gone to a billing, right? So when we go to the billing, we'll understand the exact purpose of it. But why a sub process is required? It is required during the billing to select the eligible billing items,
Sure, sure. So
right? Yes.
one question. So basically, in this particular screen, we see one is raw and two are billable, and the sub process is SP12. So have we? Is there a assignment on SP12 that selects only the billable statuses to be billed
Yes.
and not
Yes.
the
Yes.
raw? Okay,
That's
okay.
right. That is in the billing. Okay, we didn't go there yet. If you see that, select any billing process. So let's select a simple selection variant. This is my class, build a platform. Sorry, let me go back to the building process. So PP12, I guess I'm using, which one I'm using, PP12. So
BP12.
always a building process is associated with the sub process. So this sub process uses a selection variant. You see, sub process is using a selection variant, and it is controlling. Okay, the sub process is controlling how my billable item should be selected. Got it? So there
Yeah.
is a selection variant. Selection variant contains, we'll filter the criteria, but always your billing process is associated with a sub process, and sub process has a selection variant, grouping variant, and all other things. Okay, your sub process controls how you select a billable item, selection of billable items. You see, subprocesses selection of billable items using a selection variant. So that's the reason you need this subprocess. Clear? We didn't go to, I mean, we are not there yet. Still, we are in the billable items only. Now let's go to billable item management and let's read it. Okay, define subprocess of billing. This activity human billing subprocess. When a billable items are created, the system compares with them and is mandatory. Subprocess are mandatory for creating a billable item. Why it is mandatory? During the billing, it helps us identify the billable items for billing. So I'll say I'll create a subprocess SP12. We can have any number of subprocesses. Okay? Different scenarios will have different. For one time, we can have one subprocess, and for recurring, you can have another subprocess. And for kernel usage, you can have another subprocess to segregate and to have a clear path. But one subprocess is sufficient. We don't need many subprocesses. One is enough. There is other way to control the one-time recurring and usages. Okay. Now I'll create one subprocess for our purpose. I'll say SP14. Okay, subprocess 14. Save this one. And the next step is we need to assign this subprocess to our billable item class. So what is my billable item class? G14B, right? G14B. Do we have that entry? Let me copy. So G14B. G14B. What is my subprocess? SP14. Right? SP14 is assigned to my billable item class. That is another setting. Now, so one more setting. Okay, so the next thing is we need to define item types. Okay, so what is an item type? Next is item type. Next is billable item type. Okay, so billable item type tells us what kind of a data that we are storing. Okay, we can say that this simple example is we have one time data, one time fee, right? One time fee will have a different billable item type. Okay, bit type, billable item type. For recurring, we can have a different billable item. Let's say this is one, and I'll say this is two. Billable item type 2 is for recurring. Billable item type 3 is for usage. Okay, so billable item type tells us what kind of a data we are storing inside that billable item. It tells us what kind of a data we are storing. For usages, we'll have a different billable item. Okay, so by looking at the data now, okay, so let's say if it is here you see, right, I say BR12, R is recurring. Okay, if it is one off or activation fee, I'll say BO12. If it is usage, I'll say BU12. So this is billable item tells us what kind of a data we are storing. Okay, simple it is. But unless we link it, it is just of an entry. Okay, so how do we link that to our billable item class and all? We'll see. Okay, now let's go and create item types for billable item. I'll say new entry. So this is BR Vivo 14 for one time. BR14 for recurring, and PU14 for usages. one time 14 recurring 14 usages 14. Okay, save. Okay, now how do we link this to our class and subprocess? So we already know that subprocess is linked to billing billable item class, and these billable items are linked to our subprocess. Okay. Now what is my subprocess? Subprocess SP14. I'm linking my BO14. Subprocess SP14. I'm linking my BR14. Subprocess SP14. I'm linking my B14. So my subprocess is controlling what kind of data that I can pull, right? So SP14 only pulls the data, pulls the billable items which contains BO14, BR14, and BU14, right? It cannot pull other billable item types data, right? Now there is a link.
Yeah.
Billable items are assigned to subprocess, subprocess is assigned to our billable item class. Is it clear? Now define source transaction types. Let's go inside. These are standard anyway. So if you look at the data that we created just now, right? Let's go to the data. You see there is a source transaction type. There's a field called source transaction type. We see it as a BIP. What is a BIP? What is a BIP? A billable item for a billing plan. Okay, so billable item generated from a billing plan. If you are generating the same billable item from CC, that will be as SAP CC rated item, right? If you are generating a data from the one shot and all, it's if you are generating a data directly from without a billing plan, that comes as CRM OI. Okay, so it's a kind of different. I mean, if you're generating the data from external, it can be one, or it can be two, or it can be three. We can populate this also, but by default, if you're generating system, billing plan takes this one, system generated. Okay, and CRM CC takes this one, and from order it takes this one. We can overwrite also when we are manually creating, or if you are loading from external systems. Okay,
So do we define those in CC as well? Um, the
do we?
CC, like the source type.
No. CC and we don't define. I mean, let's say for billing plan, that's a BIP. It's a system. These are all system generated. Okay, I mean system defined. BIP it automatically took it. How the system understands that it is generated from billable item. I mean it's a system generated, right? The billable item, the data generated from billing plan. So it took automatically. If you are generating manually, right, you can provide any of it. You can say 01, 02, 03 from Bixbit API, right? If you are creating a billable item from Bixbit API, you can give the source transaction
Yeah.
type as your own.
Hmm. When it comes from CC, how does it know that it needs to be CCIT? Uh,
It's a standard configuration. So when the data is coming from CC, the
mhm.
CC
So the
CC
C.
triggers CC trigger. I mean, there is a connection established between CC and CI, right? And let me see if we have that. We haven't gone there
So we
yet.
define that system somewhere, right? We define that CC system somewhere, I
Yeah,
guess.
we established a link. Okay, so if you go to your SOA manager, SOA manager, SOA manager. Okay, this is where you configure your. Okay, you know about SOA manager? Anyone knows about SOA manager?
No, just heard of it. Uh,
Okay. So I'll tell you how a system are integrated.
connect-
So this is linked with our billing plan that you're discussing now. Like I'm a bit lost.
Sorry, I didn't get that. What was that?
I'm a bit lost. I mean, this is to be linked to our billing plan, which you are discussing now, or this is a separate topic
No, no, no.
altogether?
Actually, it's not a separate topic. Actually, I was telling, this one. Okay, on the billable item, you see something called source transaction type, right? So, how does Chinmay is asking, how does system know that? How does
How
it
does
knows that
system know
we?
whether it is CCIT or yeah?
Ha. So when we are creating a billable item billing plan, right? So the standard function models that we use, they know it, right? It's all internal SAP standard code. Okay. When we say that, from a billing plan, what are we trying to do? When we say request and create execute, right? We request and execute. At this point itself, system knows that, okay, this is getting generated from where? It knows, right? System knows that, it is getting executed from billing plan. So it takes BIP. If you are sending the same data from CC, let's say from CC you are sending a data to CI. So at this point itself, it knows, right? See, from CC it is getting generated. As a standard function models inside behind the scenes, will know from
Got it.
where the data is being generated. And the
So
CC
that's
and
yeah,
CI, CC and CI and CC and SOM are connected using SOM manager. SOM manager here. SOM manager contains list of web services. Okay, it's all web services. List of web services, specifically star ISX star. Right now it says internal error, but list of web services. Okay, the CC SOM and web services. SOM uses web services to connect to CC. Okay, similarly, CI uses web services to connect to CC. Okay, okay. When data is sent from CC, it uses something called a bulk loader. Okay, there is an instance called bulk loader instance. We'll see. I mean, don't get confused with that. So CC uses bulk loader instance, and it calls CI. Okay, calls CI APIs. It's using APIs inside CI. Okay. So CC was, I mean, these are all tightly integrated, right? They are all tightly integrated. So ISX web services is something that we use to connect between, to establish a connection between SOM, CC, and CI. Okay, SOM and CI are in S4, and CC is an external system, standalone system, right? We establish a connection using web services. Now, where are we? Okay, these are all understand, by looking at the data of the billable item, you'll know what it is. This is enough now. Now let's go to billable item transfer. Okay. Now define account assignments. Okay. Let's see. Let's see these things. Now what we'll do is we'll go to our basic convergent invoicing. Let's go to our billing plan. Okay. Where is our billing plan? Go to enhanced functions, billing plans, define billing plan items, billing plan types. This is my billing plan type. So what is my billable item class now? I see there.
yes.
So
One
I
for
told
B.
you we are going to change it. Okay, I'm revisiting this one now. I'm changing my billing plan. Okay, so GBP 14 will use G14B now. Okay, let's save this one and go back, and let's go on the change the number range also. Okay, we created a number range, right? Let's go. What is my number range I created? I created. Is it 05 I created? Let's see 05 whether it is there or not. I'm using a 01. 07 I created. Okay. So far we see 07. Doesn't matter, whatever it is. 7. Okay, now another setting is what? Define billing plan types, right? What is my billing plan item? GBI 14. So here what is, I'm going to change my sub process, right? SP14 is what I created. SP14. And what is my billable item type now? It is BR14, right? BR14 is my recurring. Okay, let's save this one. Go back. Now let's go and create a contract now. One more contract. I'll copy the subscription. Okay. Expired. NS3 brim 3. NS3 NS4 brim 3. Okay. Start an session. Okay, let me create a new contract. Go to subscription order management. Subscription order management. Manage subscription orders. New one. GS14. Okay, my sold to. This is sold to. And the product. Submit and generate a contract. Hope you're understanding the process, okay, what I'm trying to do here. Go to the contract 20850. It is active, technically active, yes. 20850. Okay, now let's go to a billing plan 20850 for contract 20850. 20850. Okay, enter 20850 GBI 14, and let's go to administrative data 185 released. It is recurring, and let's create a billable item. Execute. A billable item is created. Let me go to billable item data, and I'll create one more also. Let's see. Request execute. It should create a, what is my next request date? 16, right? Next request date 16. Execute. Done. It created two billable items now. Let's go back and let's see 20850 and execute. Okay.
Again, the first one is coming as a raw data.
No. This one, why it took G12B?
Oh, Z12B. Okay, okay.
It should be G14B. Somewhere we
Yeah,
missed,
it should be C14B actually.
right? Let's see. GB14, G14B. It is G14B. Did we miss anything? GBP14. That's it. We go to SPR. Oh, something is missed. Okay, let's see. Or is it a buffer issue? Settings for subscription transactions, document distribution. Sorry, recurring fees. These are billing plan and billing item types. This is a GB. No, it still took the number range is also not changed. So it didn't change actually. Let me refresh this one again. Let me create one more. GS14. Otherwise, I'll delete that and I'll create it again. Let's see. This doesn't work. I'll delete and create it again. 14. Submit. 851. Right? 851. Let's go into 851. FKK Pix bill plan. Enter 851 is our contract. Changed now. It says this should work now. It changed now. Okay, now let's go and create a billable item. Execute a billable item. You can directly navigate from here also. See a billable items, or from billing plan itself you can go to billable items, environment billable items, and now it took it right. GB14 and SP14, BR14. So it took it
Yes.
now. Okay. Now
Still taking
let's
it as
create.
raw.
Yeah, it is draw. It is draw.
Okay, okay,
Yes.
fine.
Now we create one more and execute. The next request state is what? 16. Let's create 16. Execute. So there is one more. I have 2 bits created now. Let's go and see for 851. How many bits are created? Let's go to display billing billable items, right? Display billable items. FKK fixed bit one. All items. So
So
what is my
either
con?
through this transaction or the pop-up that you were showing from billable plan, you can come to this screen, right?
What was that?
So either through this transaction, if some mon transaction that you used, either through that
KK fixed.
transaction or through, yeah, or through the billing plan transaction, we can come to this screen, right?
Yes. So from billing plans for a specific contract also you can come. That's I showed you the other way also, right? So from billing plan also we can come.
Got it.
So you see, right? It's creating a raw bits, right? Second time also it created a raw bit. That means there is something wrong with this data. Okay, so we know the bit class. This is our bit class. populated correctly, subscription, sub-process, bill of lading type, contract account, business partner, contract, the valid from, everything is correct, and also the source transaction type is correct. Now there is some data is required. Okay, let's to make it active. Okay, so this should be, we cannot. What is our purpose? We need to bill it and then we need to invoice it, right? We cannot bill the billable items if the status is raw. This should be in which status it should be?
Should be status 2, right?
It should be status 2. That's a
Yes.
billable, right? The status should be
Yes.
billable. Then only we can bill it and invoice it. But why it is not raw? Because the mandatory data, okay, the mandatory data is these three fields, first these three. And there is something, there are some other fields. You see, there is a main transaction, sub transaction, account determination ID. Okay, there are these three also required. If you want to make, I mean, when you see a raw data, the first thing that you have to check is check your billable item class, process, and billable item type. Then go to your main transaction, sub transaction, and account determination ID. See whether the data is populated or not correctly. Okay, that's the first thing you need to see. And now I see that these fields are not populated. Let's see why they are not populated. And now we will go into another configurations. Let's see what is the other configurations. So where are we now? Let me go to FICA IMG, the shortcut keycode again. FICA IMG. Go inside it and go to convergent invoicing. This is where you come to this basic function, billable items, billable item management. Until management we have done. Now we are going into billable item transfer. Okay. See, here few things are required: account assignments, main transactions for product assignment, and after that, reversal we'll see later. And after that, we'll go into billing. Now, let's see what shall we continue tomorrow or shall we continue now?
Uh, Tomorrow is better.
Hmm. Because content is very nice, sir. There is a lot of content.
Yeah, I'll see. At the end, you'll be. I'm sure. I mean, because I've been